Well, I look at it this way. It's 100 years since women got the vote. And I think if Emily Pankhurst was around now, she'd be looking for the closest racehorse to hurl herself under. I think gender really is becoming a bit of a joke. For me, it's not a form-filling exercise. And I think gender neutrality is doing a real disservice to genuine transgender women who actually have to live this style. Myself, I went through a lot to be who I am today.
So the key thing here, there are two things. One is, should there be separate changing rooms and people concerned particularly about young girls going into a changing room where there will be men. Nothing to do with a transgender issue, actually about having men in the same changing room as girls. But the reason this has come about is because of those who are transitioning, finding that there isn't a changing room for them to go into. Talulah-Eve, can you understand that issue?
Yeah, I mean,
but also the concern about why that trumps the concerns of parents of young girls who then may see men in their changing rooms.
100%. I mean, I've had experiences when I was pre-op of going into toilets in bars and being kicked out for using the female toilets and things like that. So it causes like a lot of anxiety and stress when you're a pre-op trans woman going into a female toilet. So I completely get why trans women, you know, feel uncomfortable. And I understand why Topshop want to kind of...
Hold on a sec, Talulah, with the greatest respect, I know you, I'm sure when you were using the toilets and the changing rooms, you were presenting as a woman. This latest issue has come to light because somebody rocked up at their local Topshop, 6 weeks stubble on their chin, and stamped the Mary Janes and demanded to be let in to the women's changing room. That is a completely different ball game, eh?
But they were transgender that, so they identified as...
Well, it's this word transgender. For me, it's been hijacked. You know, you have gender non-binary, people who don't believe in gender as a concept. And if they don't believe in gender, what's the problem between using the male or the female? They're both the same to them.
Making it more inclusive for everybody, so nobody's
what about the wishes of women? You know, Topshop is a women's wear outlet.
But you've got to think of the people in between.
What about them?
Let's have a look. We've got a picture of Bolton's Topshop. This is the changing room that has been refurbed. So that's the offering that we have here. Gender neutral dressing rooms.
Because it's still private cubicles. It's not like a footballer's changing room where everyone's getting naked in front of each other.
When you're trying things on in the small cubicle, do you not go out and then stand in the longer corridor? This is what I see happening most of the time, and look at the longer mirror. So then you're going to be sharing that space.
You wouldn't do that naked, though, would you? You'd have clothes on.
But if you're trying on a small top, if you're trying on small shorts or something like that, there's something you can...
I wouldn't even do that in front of the other women in the changing room out of respect. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd go out with clothes on to try and look at it.
No, I'm interested to know where you draw the line here. OK, let's say we accept gender-neutral changing rooms. Does that mean that this happens at the swimming pool? Or where? You know, mixed wards on hospitals?
Well, in swimming pools, actually, they are generally... Well, generally, at the swimming pools that I use...
But it's not curtains, with the greatest respect. It's generally wooden doors. And sometimes floor to lead, so it's a completely different...
But it's not like these changing rooms aren't controlled, do you know what I mean? Like, if this pervert's going in there, it's going to be kind of
I'm not sure, do you know what? I'm not sure it's even a concern about perverts. I think it's a concern that when you're at your most vulnerable, and we're talking about men, women and, you know, anybody who is transitioning or transgender, when you're at your most vulnerable, you're taking your clothes off, you don't necessarily want people of the opposite sex around in the, you know, you may feel perfectly comfortable about that, and as you say, out of respect, you may not take them all off. But there may be cases where you are, you know, fairly undressed and you don't necessarily want just behind a curtain to be somebody from the opposite sex there.
What's important about this is the message rather than the practicality of it. It's, you know, trying to encourage equality and sending out that positive message of no labels.
Right, equality, you're talking as if equality only applies to people who call themselves trans. What about the equality of the people who have been the core business customers of Topshop since the doors opened? What rights do they have?
Well, and lots of people getting in touch.
We've been running a poll as well. Our poll is pretty emphatic when it comes down to it in terms of whether you're for or against. 22% of you say yes, we should have transgender dressing room, changing rooms in shops. 78% saying no. Good mix on
transgender changing rooms. It's gender neutral.
Gender neutral.
Do you know what I mean?
Gender neutral. I'll get it right.
So Shoshana says, I'm complaining I don't want me or my daughters in the same changing rooms as men. Gemma says, asking for trouble, I don't want my teen son changing in the same rooms as grown women. Paula, I don't want to share a changing room with men.
What's really going to happen in a changing room?
Well, that's the concern, isn't it?
You've got your own private cubicle with a mirror, like, it's not
if there's such demand for this and it's such a good idea, why don't Arcadia and Topshop open a new shop that caters for gender-neutral people? Call it Emperor's New Clothes, whatever, Bob's your uncle or auntie, depending on which day it is.
It's a great idea.
The gender-neutral and transgender people, then once
Topshop will become top flop. They will lose customers over this.
Thank you.
India Talulah-Eve, thanks so much for joining us.